see a maze. Madam is struggling through a maze.
A maze?
Sure, baby. Maze. That's the Indian word for corn.
Steve, you promised to wait outside. Please go on, Mr. Oliver. Pretend my husband isn't here.
It's difficult to ignore the presence of hostile vibrations.
I'll make it easy on you. Come on, Peg, let's get out of here.
Steve, you promised me.
I promised to put up with your stupid fascination, but not forever. You hang on every phony word that comes out of his mouth. Live by it. Now, I say enough.
Please tell him, Mr. Oliver. Make him understand.
Don't waste your abracadabra on me, pal.
Where there is anger, there is fear.
Oh, Peg, for crying out loud.
Fear of the future is fear of the past. I see tragedy, death. Very close to you, madam.
Peg?
The past, Mr. Oliver?
A man from the past. A man who was very important to you.
Cut it out, mister. That's not funny.
A man whom you will hate, whom you will try to destroy. But you will only force him to destroy you.
Oh, sure. Don't quit now, Buster. At these prices, you can throw the man's name in, can't you?
Please, Steve, I'm frightened.
Of course you are. That's his angle. Keeps scaring you so you'll cough up his rent every week. You disappoint me, boy. I thought you'd come up with something more mysterious than a man named X.
The man is beginning to emerge. You will meet him soon. There will be violence. He will kill you.
No.
Oh, Peg, don't be a child. Why would anybody want to kill me?
The reasons are in the past. Mrs. Braddock knows them. Perhaps you know them too. The man's name is Willie Dante.
Same, bartender.
The same what?
No, you see? You've forgotten me already. That's how my face affects people. Turn your back and it vanishes. You're looking at the most forgettable character that you'll ever meet.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Mr.
Pollock. Jason Pollock. Just to give you an idea how bad it is, 10 years I've been living in the same apartment house. And the elevator boy still asks me what floor I want to get off at. 10 years.
Think of that.
If I only had a mole or a birthmark or a distinguishing feature on the end of my nose even, I wouldn't care.
That'd help.
Nah, who am I kidding? It would just be the same old story. You know what they'd say then? The mole is familiar, but I can't place the face.
Did you say your name was Braddock?
Just tell him it's Miss Cotton of 1953.
May I say that 1953 must have been a vintage year for cotton?
Yes, Stu. Who? Miss Cotton? Oh, hang on a second. Peggy Remington, after all these years. Stu? Sure. Tell her I'll be right down.
Hello, Willie. I was afraid you'd forgotten.
Well, I don't have that many good things to remember. A long time, Peg.
The years have added a Mrs. to my name.
Well, good for you.
Yes, it has been. Willie, is there, any place we can talk in private?
Oh, sure. My office. Sit down, Peg. Cigarette?
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Willie, is there any reason why you'd want to kill my husband, Stephen Braddock?
Who needs a reason? My last 6 victims were total strangers.
I'm serious. This isn't a joke.
Well, I've never even met your husband. To me, Stephen Braddock is just a name in the financial section.
Why would Mr. Oliver make that prediction?
Who?
Mr. Oliver, he's a astrologer that I've been consulting. He told us that you were going to murder Steve.
Murder? Your husband's not taking it seriously.
You don't know my husband. He's a very jealous man.
But why of me?
Well, he knows about New Orleans, Willie, and about us.
Well, Peg, that was 8 years ago. There's such a thing as a statute of limitations, you know.
Yes, I know. I told him about us, Willie. I told him that I was just a silly kid with a crush and that, well, that you ended it before I had a chance to make a fool out of myself.
Well, that's about the way it was, Peg. I can't say that I blame him for being jealous. He obviously knows he has a good thing and he wants to hang on to it. But the next time you see him, you tell him from me that I hope he has a long and a healthy life.
I guess I should have known that you'd feel that way. Just feels good to hear you say it.
So, just scratch that prophecy, will you?
It's scratched. I guess Steve was right about Mr. Oliver.
Excuse me.
There's a gentleman here to see you, a Mr. Braddock. Can you spare a moment?
Hold on. Your husband just walked in.
Oh, no, Willie. He mustn't know that I'm here.
Why not? Didn't he know you came to see me?
No, why, Willie, he's an insanely jealous man. I told him I was going for a dress fitting.
At 11 o'clock at night? Stu, ask Mr. Braddock to wait for me at the bar, will you?
Well, I had to tell him something. I couldn't let him know I was going to see you.
Oh, well, the story as bad as that, no wonder you didn't convince him. Now, look, there's a back exit out of here. It goes into an alley. I don't know how fast you can get home, but I'll stall him here as long as I can.
Mr. Dante will join you in a moment.
What'll it be, sir?
Brandy, make it double.
Hey, you know, I've been thinking about what you were telling me about the difference between me and Willie. Well, the way he operates with a chick, it ain't art. It's genius. Believe me.
Mr. Braddock, Willie Dante. Hope I didn't tear you away from anything. Nothing that can't wait. Buy you a drink, Danny? According to Dun and Bradstreet, you could buy me Alaska if you wanted to, but I'll settle for a cup of coffee. We have a mutual acquaintance, I believe. My wife. Nope. You're the only Braddock I've met lately. Maybe you know her better as Peggy Remington? Oh, sure. Well, that goes a long way back, but congratulations. Allow me to buy you a drink. Stacks up the years, he leaves a lot of unfinished business behind. And now and then he gets a twinge and wishes he could turn back the calendar. You know what I mean? Am I supposed to? Any husband resents the men in his wife's past. There's nothing he can do about it. The men in their present, though, that's something else. Anything between Peggy and me ended 8 years ago. Ended for good. Well, that's what I wish to hear. This will sound crazy, you see, but there's this fortune teller she's been seeing, and...
Mr. Braddock.
Hennessy, what is it? My chauffeur, excuse me.
Hey, Willie, I want to show you something.
What's that? Tell me my chauffeur was lying, Dante. Tell me you never saw my wife ducking out the back. Go ahead, tell me. That's all right, let him go. I'm going to forget about this, Braddock, because I can see where you put 2 and 2 together and came up with 5. But now you better get out of here. Another time, another place, Dante. I'm not through with you yet.
Well, it's all right, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to worry about. They were just rehearsing for the floor show.
Hey, Willie, you ain't gonna let him get away with that, are you?
Any outraged husband is entitled to at least one free swing in any man's ballpark.
He doesn't look to me to be the kind of husband who would settle for one.
He will after I pay a visit to a certain Mr. Oliver.
You know what time it is. What do you want?
The name's Dante. Does that give you a clue?
Oh, no, just a minute. You haven't any right to
Oh,
break
I've
in.
got a right, all right. Why me? Out of 1,000,000 people in this town, why did you pick on me?
Well, the messages of the spheres are not always understandable to men.
All right, now, come on, level with me. You told Braddock and his wife that I was going to kill him. Why?
I can foresee the future. I cannot explain it.
Suppose, we discuss your future for a change. Now, I'm no clairvoyant, but I predict that tomorrow you'll be sipping chicken soup through a straw unless you come up with a few answers tonight. Now, one more time. What made you choose me?
$10,000.
$10,000?
Mm-hmm. Mrs. Braddock is worth $10,000 a year to me. Would you, in my place, forfeit such a sum without a fight?
Go on.
Her husband doesn't like me. I defend myself with the only weapons I understand. The problem is quite elementary. I must turn husband against wife, wife against husband.
How does it advance your cause to tell Braddock and his wife that I'm going to kill him?
The man is like a wind-up doll. You just point him in the right direction and let him go. I planted the thorn of a thought. The more he scratches, the more it becomes inflamed. In a few days, a week at the most, his marriage will be in ruins.
I still don't see where I come into the act.
Well, the past is grandparent to the future. Mrs. Braddock mentioned you repeatedly. Apparently, you made quite an impression. Now, in my business, we never throw anything away, Mr. Dante.
She's not going to like this.
She's not going to know. I told you because you threatened me with violence. Repeat one word and I'll deny it. Given a choice, she'll take my word against yours.
If something should happen to Braddock, and I was unfortunate enough not to have an alibi,
the resultant publicity would make me quite a celebrity. Yes, that same thought had already occurred to me.
Come right on in, Willie. You're just the man I want to see.
thanks, Lieutenant, but why?
Attempted murder. Person or persons unknown.
Which attempted murder did you have in mind?
Someone sabotaged the brakes in Mr. Braddock's car, but the chauffeur discovered it in time. First you've heard of this, Willie?
For a fact, yes. You're a liar, Dante. Nobody else had a motive.
What do you say to that, Willie?
Don't tell me the police department believes in fortune tellers, too.
We're discussing motives, not metaphysics. Witnesses saw Braddock belt you last night. You never were one to turn the other cheek.
Well, I've got a nightclub to run.
So?
Any entertainment we have, we book in advance.
Then you were going to let the entire incident pass.
If I I knocked off everybody who took a swing at me, I'd empty the streets.
This is different. Let's face it, Mrs. Braddock would make an appealing widow. In fact, with the inheritance she'd come into, you might say she'd be irresistible.
I resent that, Lieutenant. Mr. Dante would have no basis for such a motive.
Money doesn't spoil, ma'am. Mr. Dante's a professional gambler. Was. Man like that'll risk everything on a long shot, providing the stakes are sufficiently attractive.
You know, if you'd keep in touch with the department more often, Lieutenant, you'd find out that somebody tried to burn me this morning.
What time was that?
6 o'clock in front of my club, 2 shots from a moving car.
Kind of late to be out.
I had a good reason.
Was the good reason with you when this alleged ambush occurred?
No, I dropped her off before then.
Then there were no corroborating witnesses.
Well, there are 2 slugs in the front of my place that weren't there when I built it.
Which doesn't prove a thing.
What are you trying to do, Lieutenant? Get him to take another shot at me? Wait a minute. Are you accusing me? Well, I didn't come all the way out here to see how the other half lives. You see those trophies behind the bar? Every one is an award for marksmanship. When I take a shot at you, Daddy, I won't miss.
Okay, let's talk facts.
The facts are obvious. By faking an attempt on his life, he's setting up the stage so he can murder me and plead self-defense.
I take it that pretty well sums up the charges you intended to level against Mr. Braddock?
That is correct, Lieutenant.
One of you's lying, but which one?
If you need any help, ask.
I will. Until I unwind this, I suggest you both maintain an extra special concern for the other's welfare. Because if anything happens to either one of you, I'm going to book the survivor for murder.
He's going to book the survivor for murder. Loafer said that.
His exact words.
Well, that puts you and Braddock between a rock and a hard place. No matter whose nickel it is, it's going to come up lemons.
The more I study it, the less I like it. I can picture Braddock taking a shot at me. I can even see him dreaming up the business with the brakes. It's the sequence that bothers me.
Well, he had to set things up so he could cop a plea of self-defense.
Well, set it up first and then try to kill me. He didn't do that.
Maybe he wasn't thinking clearly. He was pretty shaken up at finding his wife here.
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. That Oliver built the bomb, but it was Mrs. Braddock who touched it off.
She would have saved us all a lot of trouble if she just phoned it in.
Well, Oliver can't lose. He's going to get his hooks into Braddock's money. Now, if Braddock dumps you, he gets a cyanide chamber. And if you erase him, you get the same thing. But Peggy winds up a wealthy widow.
That's it, Biff. That's the answer. You just pitched me the answer.
I did?
Yeah, but how it turns out is going to depend on you two. The way it is now, I'm sort of in the middle.
You must be crazy coming here at this hour. Now, what if Steve walked in?
He won't. He was called out on business. He won't be back for hours.
How did you know?
You know, honey, all you had to do was tell me if you wanted out.
Oh.
Well, the California divorce laws are very generous, but no judge awards the wife everything, whereas widowhood does.
Willie, what are you talking about?
Your little heart must have skipped a beat when Mr. Oliver made that prediction. He was very accommodating, wasn't he?
You must be out of your mind.
Honey, don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I still remember New Orleans, don't you?
Yes, Willie. I remember New Orleans. I remember you telling me how much fun it had been. But goodbye. I'll never forget that. I'll never stop hating you for it, so why don't you get out of here?
Okay. You want to make it straight business? That's all right with me. I know your play, Peg. Now, either you split 50-50 with me, or I'm going to see that you get nothing.
What's that for?
Well, there's still a matter of removing your husband. And since we don't want to lose me, we've got to find ourselves another patsy. My vote is for Mr. Oliver. He made the prediction. He stands to gain by your husband's death. Now, I'll get back to the club and establish an alibi while you take care of your husband. Hmm? Good girl.
I still don't see how this implicates Oliver.
Simple. After you take care of Braddock, then you call Oliver on the phone, tell him to come over here. Make sure you mention money, then he'll hurry. And then you call the police and tell them that he did it. Neat, huh?
Not really. I like my idea better.
Hey, be careful with
Then
that.
stand still, Willie. You know, Willie, it wasn't fate that planted your name in Oliver's mouth. I put the idea in his head. Time and time again, telling him how very jealous Steve is and what a wonderful romance you and I had.
Look, Peg.
And you know what? You're right. I do want to get rid of my husband. So I guess it's just a matter of killing two birds with one bullet. Right?
Peg, wait. Hey, is he?
You ought to know, Steve. You just killed him. At least that's what I'm going to tell the police. And you know what the lieutenant said.
You filth.
Stay away from me!
Have you seen enough? You don't think I'd put live bullets in that, do you?
Hey, Willie! Willie! Hey, Willie, we did our best to try to stop him, but he got a little rough with us, and...
Daddy, your boys try to rough me up. It was a delaying action on my orders. I needed a little time to set the scene.
He recognized me from the club. That made him realize that you were in on it. And then this happened.
According to my synchronized watch, the guy got away a little too soon, that's all.
Give me the police.
Oh, Steve, no.
You think you'll deliver her?
In spades. Now, look, boys, when we get to the club, I want you to go in the back way.
The back way? Well, this is already over. We didn't do this just for a joke. No action and roll in the gun. In the concert, you think
Wayne Rogers.
Oh, I'll have an extra dry martini and a twist of lemon.
Well, yes, but how did
Being
you
a
know?
steady customer, how could I forget?
I know, but...
Good evening, Mr. Pollock. It is Mr. Pollock, isn't it?
Paula? Yeah, that's my name, but how did you know? We've never met before.
I told Mr. Danley all about you, being one of our regular patrons.
I recognized you right away from that description.
From his description? You recognize me from a description? Me?
Mr. Pollock,
Yes?
I have a table for you now, ringside. Will you please follow me?
He knew me. Did you hear that? He knew me. I have a dozen people at the bar, and he knew which one was me. It's magic.
Beth,
Yeah, Willie.
that is the fella, isn't it?
Turning for home, and it's Wise Child by a head, and Nuzzler moving up on the inside, and from far back, here comes... Son, get him up there! Now! Come on, get him up there! The order of finish now appears on the totalizator board. Please hold on.
One more jump and we'd have had it.
Well, that's the way it goes. When the horse is out in front, the race is too long. Coming up from behind, the race is just too short.
You stop being such a good sport. I had a bundle riding on that nag.
Oh, I know, Vance. But I'm sorry. You know, but I never could understand why a man would gamble a fortune on a horse instead of on himself.
Well, for one thing, I can't run so fast.
You know what I mean. That lawyer friend of yours that introduced us last night, he said that you gambled every cent you had and turned the desert into an oil field. You bet on yourself and won.
Well, it's my last night in Frisco, and I can't get even looking for any oil wells.
You're the visiting fireman, and you have a perfect right to choose your fun. Can you hold your own at poker?
Never had no complaints. Why? You know where there's a game?
You ever hear of a man named Dante?
Willie Dante? Sure. Vegas, New Orleans. But I thought he quit gambling and opened a restaurant here in town.
Well, that's what he'd like the police to think, too.
Friend of yours, huh?
In the 8th race, number 3, Parasol, 3 pounds
Good enough.
over, total weight being 100.
One thing you can be sure of, if Danny's running the game, it's on the left.
Wild chase.
Hey, what do you say we stop by his place, say hello, have dinner, and tell him I'm going to play tonight?
The horses are now on the track for the running of the 8th race.
Sit right still, Sugar. I'm going to get us a winner.
patients are piling up. If you'll need a relief, you better call one right now.
Well, as long as the fleet's in instead of the cocktail crowd, I'm all right. Uh-oh, Stella stalks again. I thought she said that if Willie didn't marry her, she was through with him forever.
Well, some women change their age and their forevers every 6 months. Better call Willie and tell him she's here.
Willie, how are you fixed for old flames?
Oh, thank you, Stu.
A rub Roy over the rocks with a twist of lemon.
Nice to be remembered in such detail.
I'm just trying not to be replaced by an electronic brain.
Well, little girl lost.
Oh, well, lost or stolen, it's good to see you again. Well, please, sit down.
Thank you.
Oh, Stu, I'm expecting someone, a Mr. Vance Mitchell.
Very well.
I wouldn't be holding hands with the new or promised Mrs. Mitchell, would I?
Oh, if I thought you were jealous, I'd just let you believe that. No, Vance is just a client. At least I hope he will be.
By client, you mean business?
Yep. When you scorned me, I threw all my fury into public relations work. Oh, no, thank you. Oh, the hours have been long and the rewards very lean. Up until now.
And enter Mr. Mitchell.
Could be. I asked him to meet me here about 8, but I came a little bit early. I wanted to ask a favor.
You want me to tell him that you're a bright girl? You are.
Bless you, but I'd like just a little bit more.
For instance?
Well, I told him... Oh, I'm afraid I told him a little white lie.
Oh?
I said that I was handling all the publicity for your club.
That's a little gray lie, Stella. What else did you tell him?
I'm having a party for him up at my place later on this evening, and I said that you'd be there.
Stella, you're trying to make a shell out of me, and I don't think I like it.
Oh, Willie, you can call the guy up tomorrow and show me up if you like, but please don't make me look like a fool tonight.
Stella! Honey! Am I late? Are you too early?
Oh, Vance, I'd like you to meet Willie Dante. This is Vance Mitchell.
Hi, Daddy.
Mr. Mitchell, sit down, please.
Thanks. Double berth. Wow, quite a setup you got here, Daddy.
How do you mean setup?
Well, Vance appreciates class. That's why I appreciate him. Actually, that little party that I had in mind, it should start early, so I think we ought to have a fast bite here and get on our merry way.
Good idea. How about you, Daddy? Why don't you join us, and then we can all go to the party later.
No, I'm afraid I can't make it tonight.
Oh? How come?
Well, Willie's very serious about his restaurant business. You know how that is.
Yeah, sure. I was kind of hoping you'd be there.
Well, thank you. If I can, I'll make it later, but even if I don't, I assure you that Stella's parties do fine with or without me.
Well, your say-so's good enough for me.
Well, I'll go get you a table for dinner.
My last night in town. I don't suppose you'd wish me luck, though, huh?
Why not?
Well, I'm all the luck he needs. Right, Willie?
Well, he's big enough to find that out for himself. I'll see you both before you leave.
Yeah.
That party of 16 will probably be very noisy. Shall I put them in the back?
It's a birthday party, not a hanging. Put them next to the dance floor.
Daddy.
Hello, Mitchell. You're about an hour ahead of us.
Yeah, look, I want talk, not booze. And not double talk, either.
Oh, all right. Sit down. Have some coffee.
No thanks.
I thought you were leaving town today.
I was. But your boys took such a bite out of me last night, I figured I'd stick around another day and try to get even.
Brief me on the ground rules, Mitchell. What are we talking about?
Look, I'm trying to be careful for your sake and mine. Now, I've been trying to get a hold of Stella to find out where the game is tonight, but she's been out all day.
What game?
The card game. Come on, Dante. Are you going to talk straight or not? Make up your mind.
I don't know anything about any game, yours, mine, or anyone's.
Don't get cute, Dante. Your boys clipped me for $7 grand in cash last night.
Now, look, Mitchell, I don't have any boys. I don't have any game. Now, apparently you've been had, but not by me. So, why don't you get out of here?
Why, you crummy.
Okay, that one was on the house. The next one's on you.
Look, Dante, you're not as big as your reputation. You have dames hustling for you, stooges to do your fighting, and I'm not so sure you didn't cheat me in the bargain.
Oh, wait a minute. You played cards last night. Straight or crooked, you lost. Now, why come crying on my shoulder?
Because I don't play cards with just anybody I meet on a street corner. When Stella told me that you were running this game, I at least thought I'd get a fair shake.
Stella told you that I was running a game?
Oh, come on. What do you think I was doing here last night? All this double talk about a party. Some party, huh? And I was the sucker of honor, wasn't I? Look, Dante, I don't mind losing money in a card game that's on the level, but I can smell this one from here to last night. Now, either I get my $7 grand in cash, or I'm gonna call the cops and tell them to ask you for it.
Stu, go on up in the office and get all the cash we have in the safe.
Willie, you're not serious.
I'm not gonna buy him off. We're gonna bait a trap, and he's our cheese.
I'm interested in my problems, not yours.
Well, right now, they're one and the same. To find out where that game is tonight, we need Stella. And to attract Stella, you need loot. This time, we're going to use mine.
All I want is my dough.
Biff, call all the old numbers we have on Stella. If she's not there, find out where she is.
What'll I tell her?
Make it sound like love.
Hey, you're leveling with me, aren't you? You don't know about that game.
You better believe it. Now, let's sit down and have some coffee. When I find Stella, I'm going to try to romance her into coming over here tonight.
Willie, you're sure you know what you're doing?
I hope so.
That's an awful lot of loot. You're just gonna let me walk out here with it?
I'm not worried. We'll call you at your hotel.
Hey, Willie, here's Stella. She's at a beauty parlor.
Stella? Well, you shouldn't be too surprised the way you looked last night. Well, what I had in mind was, tonight. Oh, well, can't you break it for, old time's sake? Yeah. We could have an early drink at the club and then, discuss future plans from there. Good. Where do I pick you up? Yeah. Russian Hill Drive. You got a date. Oh, by the way, how did your business work out with that fellow, what was his name, Mitchell? Well, better luck next time. See you tonight. I'm picking her up at 7:30.
I'll be here at 7.
Right.
Say, Dante, do you carry a gun?
Why?
This fella Stacy has a mug that does. Hey, Stella! Hey, it's about time. I've been trying to get a hold of you all day.
Oh, well, I didn't know. You said you were leaving this morning.
No, I couldn't afford to after last night. Hey, Stewie, you take care of my part there, will you, partner? Well, I stopped by the hotel and cashed a check. Now I'm all ready for the little party tonight.
What party?
Oh, it's just some joke that he took seriously. Vance, there's no party tonight.
Well, then let's fix it with the big man here. How about it, Pally? I feel lucky.
Look, pal, whatever party I had in mind didn't include you.
Oh, I get it. Just you two, huh? Well, remember, business before pleasure.
I'm sure whatever business you had with Stella can wait until morning.
No, not this business. But remember, hot or cold, I gotta leave town tomorrow.
Oh, Willie, I think this will just take a minute. Why don't you find that table and have a Rob Roy waiting for me, please?
Okay.
Well, she's taken the bait. Now, if you'll just play out a little line.
Yeah, he's holding up better than I thought he would, and she's too panicky to notice any slips.
Well, brace yourself. Here she comes. I can almost hear the wheels clicking in her head.
Willie. Willie, I just don't know how to ask you this, but...
Now, don't tell me that he's dangling a business deal to get you away from me. If he is, the answer is, yes, I am sorry.
Oh, Willie, please try to understand. You know, you're really my favorite fun, but a girl has to be able to buy her own groceries. And his account means money to me, and frankly, I do need it.
Well, how long?
Oh, I'd say a couple of hours. I'll call you back here as soon as I can break away.
Well, all right.
Oh, I adore you.
Tell your boss I'm Willie Dante.
Just a minute. Come in.
Stacy, I didn't.
Never mind, honey. I notice your friend here doesn't seem so surprised. How do you do, Dante? I'm Stacy Munford.
Stacy? Nice setup you got here. Or, should we say I've got here?
Say anything you like, if it makes you feel any better.
All the trimmings, huh?
Well, we wouldn't want anybody to think you weren't first class.
Sam? Thought you were working the tubs to Europe.
A man gets around.
And Petey, how's your ulcer?
Only hurts when I eat.
Oscar?
Willie?
Like old times, huh, Fogarty? Thought you'd retired.
Why make a fuss, Willie? Your friend got 5 straight cards every hand. He just lost.
You don't believe that, do you?
Sure. These guys didn't cheat you. Not because they couldn't. They didn't have to. Congratulate yourself, Mitchell. You were beaten by the very best.
I'll say thanks for the boys, Dante. Now, what's on your mind?
Okay, if I have to say it. It's closing time, Stacy. Give my friend back his $7,000 and take my name off your junk, including her.
Stacy, don't let him.
Take it easy, honey. I'll talk nice, Dante, because I don't have to listen to any more than I want to. Suppose I tell you to take a flying jump for yourself. Then what?
Then I'll have to do it the hard way. I could have called the cops before I walked in here, you know.
Now, why would you want to do a thing like that? Especially when we'd have to tell them we were working for you.
Uh-huh.
They'd want to believe it. And the papers, they just love it, even if they didn't believe it. Very bad for business. Especially the restaurant business.
What's the matter, big man? Your bluff get called?
When you're through with us, Stacy, kick her in the teeth. If you just say goodbye, she'll never let go.
Stacy!
Sticks and stones, Stella. Now, be a good sport, huh? You and him already cost us a night's work. But just to show there's no hard feelings, I'll write it off.
As long as you're cashing in on my name, there's going to be hard feelings, Stacy.
Oh, don't worry about it, fella. I'm getting known around. Pretty soon the pigeons will be coming because it's Munford's game and nobody else's.
That right?
Stacy's got the makings, Willie. In the old days, you'd have thought so yourself.
Okay, you're wasting my time, Danny. I'll see you around.
Your time's cheap tonight. You just said so yourself. Give me the cash. There's a little under $12,000 here. That should cover your expenses, if you win it.
You're kidding. You want to play here?
Why not? I hear Willie Dante runs an honest game.
That's good.
Don't trust him.
Stay out of this. Sure. Go ahead, sit down.
We all know the boys are playing with your money. You mean you're just gonna sit here and watch?
Pick up your drinks, boys. Take the night off.
Might watch a round or two if you don't mind.
Name your game, as long as there's no limit.
Draw, open on anything. Open 500.
500. And 1,000.
They're not that good.
You scare easy, don't you? Your deal.
Start looking for work, boys. Willie's playing him like a trout.
All diamonds. Let's make it 3,000.
Let's make it 5. One.
Dealer takes 1.
Sorry. You opened.
$10,000 to you.
Is that all you got?
All right, let's cut the wisecracks. Call the bet.
I wasn't thinking about calling. Here's, your 10. And, up 10,000.
You drew 1, huh?
You dealt.
Well, I guess you figured it'd be 2 cheap pair.
Man.
What? What did he have? What did he have?
Just that ace he let you see, nothing else.
If you wanted to look, you should have paid.
Oh, you...
Tommy!
Awful lot of witnesses, Tommy.
You should have enough left to pay off the boys and car fare to wherever you're going. Stolly, your man's bleeding. Aren't you going to cheer him up? Don't say I never did anything for you. Let's go.
Are you just gonna let him walk out of here with all that dough?
He won it, didn't he? See you around, Willie. Took 1 card and raised, huh, Willie?
Mm-hmm. If he'd called and lost, he'd have been broke. I knew he was thinking about that when I made my play.
Well, I'd like to have been there to see that. He didn't try any hanky-panky with the cards, did he?
He gave me more credit than that. Besides, some of the best dealers in the country were there. And after we started, he knew they weren't all on his side. Comes to about 80,000.
And that does not include the 7,000 that you returned to Mitchell. I would like to point out to you that our profits from the club last night came to about $650. Compare that with the 80,000 that you won with your undeniable skill at poker. Willie, are you still sure that we're in the right business?
No. But this is where we're going to stay.
Mitchell wasn't the only one rooked by Stacy in his operation. A lot of suckers lost their shirts with him before tonight.
Well, that'll teach him not to gamble.
Dante's Inferno. Yes, please.
Biff, one more, please. Then I gotta get back to the hospital.
That new grandson of yours is really something, huh?
Gonna be the greatest quarterback Stanford ever had in 1979.
I'm terribly sorry.
It's all right, pal. It's all right. You don't navigate so well without your specs, eh?
Oh, I guess you're right. I'm sorry.
I think not.
I beg your pardon?
Pretty neat for an old gag.
I've seen better. Hand it over.
Hand what? I've been up against it pretty bad. I just hit the street last week after 6 months in the can. Give me a break, will you?
I ought to break your pocket-picking fingers.
The police, Willie?
No, if I'm going to advertise, I want this weasel to tell his punk friends this is a good place not to try their luck in.
Honest, I'll tell him. This'll be the cleanest place in town, honest.
Go on, beat it.
Thanks.
Feeling condition?
Well, there are some things like roller skating that one never forgets.
Tally-ho.
Oh, I beg your pardon, but please forgive me.
Sure. Now, I'm beginning to feel like a regular bottleneck here.
Our mistake, sir. Biff, give the gentleman another drink on the house.
No, thanks. I got to get back anyway.